Paramedic, what was that movie you were talking about earlier?
Which one?
My mother, the teenage whatever.
Oh, that. Sorry. The major was talking to me at the time and I wasn't really paying attention. Don't worry, I'll get it right next time. Snake, have you ever seen North by Northwest?
Missed that one.
It's about this ordinary guy who runs an ad agency. He's mistaken for someone else and gets kidnapped and forced to do a certain job. As a result, he gets tangled up in a conspiracy, and pretty soon he's traveling to New York, Chicago, and even Mount Rushmore in pursuit of the real culprit. Hitchcock's films always keep you on the edge of your seat, but sometimes they can be funny when you least expect it. That's why I love them.
Have you seen all of his films?
All of them? Oh, not even close. He's been making movies since before I was born. I guess I might have seen some of them on TV. But the first movie I ever saw in the theater was a Hitchcock film. We all went and saw it as a family. It was Rebecca.
This was when you were a kid?
Yeah, my parents loved watching movies, so they took me along. I didn't quite understand the plot, but for some reason I thought it was really scary. Actually, I remember the candy bar they bought me on the way home better than the movie itself.
That's when you fell in love with movies?
You could say that. It was like an irresistible force at that point. I was completely swept away. Snake, have you ever heard of the Blob?
No, I haven't.
A meteorite falls in a small town, and inside there's this kind of living ooze. The ooze starts swallowing people and grows to an enormous size. After it eats a bunch of the townspeople, it starts to fill up a movie theater. Then these young people try to save the town from its gruesome fate. It's pretty frightening to see something that's not even supposed to be alive suddenly start moving around and eating people.
Not something you see every day.
Snake, you know the bridge on the River Kwai?
Haven't seen it.
It's about a group of Allied prisoners in Japanese-occupied Burma in World War II who worked together to build a bridge. Under the leadership of an English officer, the prisoners and the Japanese gradually bring the project toward completion. But at the same time, the Allied forces are hatching a plan to blow up the bridge.
War and futility go hand in hand.
I suppose so.
I didn't think you were the type to go for war movies, though.
Actually, this guy invited me to go see it with him.
A date?
I guess you could call it that.
Still, you just don't seem like the type.
Well, he seemed to like war movies. He was a Navy boy. I was still an intern back then. They brought him in with a broken leg. He said, when I'm all healed up, will you go see a movie with me to celebrate? If it's okay. He was so shy.
Where is he now?
With the 7th Fleet.
I see.
Snake, have you ever seen Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
No, I haven't.
It's about this town where one by one the people disappear and are replaced by someone else. It keeps getting worse and worse until finally the main character's friends and family start getting replaced. It turns out it was a giant plant thing producing human clones. Creepy, huh?
Clones?
A clone is a body or cell that's genetically identical to another one. They didn't use that term in the movie, though.
You mean a copy of a human being?
It's technologically feasible. We know it's possible to do it in theory, and they've already started the research. One day, maybe toward the beginning of the next century, the genes of super soldiers like you are going to be a hot commodity.
Just to make copies of me?
Precisely.
Like a thoroughbred horse.
Right.
Huh. You know they'd never allow it.
Maybe, but technology changes people. We can't predict how people will think 50 years from now.
Some things shouldn't be changed.
We're not the ones who decide that. I think maybe the only thing we can do is to try and pass on our beliefs to our children, so that they won't head in the wrong direction. Snake, have you ever seen The Alamo?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's a true story about a band of American volunteers holed up in a fort called The Alamo. They fight against the Mexican army for the freedom of Texas.
Remember The Alamo.
Now The Alamo is Los Alamos, the center of the atomic bomb project.
How ironic.
Snake, have you seen Curse of the Werewolf?
Nope.
There's this young woman who's in the service of a nobleman. She can't stand the cruel treatment she's given and runs away from the castle. She collapses in the woods but is saved by a scholarly couple from a nearby town. In the end, she dies giving birth to a baby boy. That boy undergoes a strange transformation every time the moon is full. Before he knows it, he's turning into a werewolf and killing people. The terrible curse grows so bad that he can no longer control himself and starts to hurt the ones he loves.
Poor guy.
It's frightening when you can't take responsibility for your own actions. You be careful too. Don't do anything you might regret later.
That's why I call and save with you, right?
It's more than just that. Don't you ever forget to look where you're going and rush out where the enemy can see you, or use too much ammo or too many items. Acting without thinking can be dangerous. Always pay attention to your surroundings and know what's going on around you. Huh? Snake, above you!
Huh?
Nice reflexes. Keep that up and you'll do fine.
Right.